Right, this is the repair of this clock. First of all, remove the silver ring around the outside. That's easily, that slides off the front. Next, we're looking for a couple of little tabs there. There's 3 of them. Just gently push in and push it away, and then the clear glass plastic will flick off the top, off the front. There it is, that's one of them off. And once you get one of them, it seems like the rest of them come off as well. And there it is, disconnected and away. So now we remove the hands. There's a little button on the front, just remove and then put them somewhere safely. The second one we're going to take is our minute hand off. Just using my fingernails underneath and gently pulling it off. And finally the hour hand. So now the paper clock face will come off. We'll save that for later. Next is the tricky bit. This is the bit that I had the most difficulty with. And then we turned over, and first of all we remove the battery and the battery cover. And now there's these 3 little tabs that are the tricky things. I'll show you zoomed up in a second. And the idea is we're going to push in on those gently. There it is. Push in on those inwards. There's 3 of them. And then with my thumb, just gently push down on the central bit that's in the middle, and then it pops through, you can see. And then that just slides out the bottom. Cool. So that's all that. Remove the next. There is another 3 tabs. One's there, and you just flick those off. 2. And that will separate the 2 parts of the clock. And eventually it'll pop off for us. 3, it's going out of camera, sorry. And then it pulls apart. Now it just pulls apart. Great. So the little red buttons just come off as well. So the reason I was pulling this apart was this bit of metal that I was talking to had become dislodged. That just sits in, there's 2 little places that's held in place. One is about there, and the other one is about there. So we just had to pop that back into position, and then we had to and it just sits on that plate there. There it is again, the one end of the battery terminal. Okay, so now I think I'm going to reassemble it. So it's just pretty much reverse, just lining up those little notches. See the notch there? Just line it up. I think it can be, this one you have to line up for the battery. So you can put and then those little catches are going to line up again. So the hole in the back of the one in my right hand, has to allow you to put the battery in there. Next, put in the little dial for allowing you to adjust the time. It just pushes in. Yep, and then now we're going to reassemble it. The little circle bits, it doesn't seem, it's pretty much the 3 of them are evenly spaced, so it doesn't matter too much which one you put in which way. So that's gone in there okay. Now we're going to put the paper clock face back on. So there's a little notch there, and that needs to be at the top there. And when I flip it over, you'll see that that's at the same spot where the battery compartment is. So that'll match up. So, yep, we just lost the hour hand. So now we put the hour hand on first. So I lined it up on the 12 so that I could line up the minute hand, so that was also on the 12. And that way they'd be in sync. And then the hardest part was, after that going on, was putting that little dot back on. Took me a couple of goes, but here is the final go. And that goes on there. So the next thing we're going to do is put the plastic cover on. There's little tabs again. Just line those up with the hole in the plastic there. There's 3 tabs. I don't think it matters which way it goes. Little tab into that little hole. Yep, that clicks on there. We're getting there now. I'll just check it's nice and it'll click into place. Okay, finally, we're going to put the silver cover back on. And pretty much done now. We're going to put the battery that just slides down to make it neat. Yep, and finally we're going to put the battery back in. Just put that in carefully. It doesn't dislodge that metal thing again. Yep. And I was listening, yes, and it was ticking at that point. There is a completed job. Finally, we'll put the battery cover back on. So put the battery cover back on, pop that in there, and adjust the clock to the correct time. And there it is, all done. Hope that was useful. I couldn't find it on the internet, so now it's there.